How did you use media technologies in the construction and research planning and evaluation stages?
Throughout research we used computers with Windows 7 software and also Mac computers, but we tended to use the Windows 7 software as we found it was the most effective and easier to navigate.
We used Google to look at existing and relevant children's TV shows that we could look into, and then we used YouTube to look at their opening sequences and looked at the conventions of those to put in our own.
When finding inspiration for the children's magazine covers and DVD cover, we went onto Google Images and searched for specific children's TV programmes which had magazines and DVDs out, such as Tracy Beaker, Hannah Montana, and other BBC products. When doing brand research, we went onto both Wikipedia pages of companies and their websites. For example, we went onto the BBC and CBBC websites, as well as American websites such as Nickelodeon and Disney. Through this brand research, we learnt the broadcast times of the programmes and when peak times children watched television shows, which inspired us to choose a time for our show to which will be aired probably around about 3 p.m, 4 p.m. when children are out of school. Another aspect of our brand research and target audience research was on the internet using Ofcom. On here, Ofcom had just published their latest research on parents and children's use of technologies. On Ofcom, we found that parents are concerned with the amount of violence shown on children's television programmes. We decided not to put any violence in our opening sequence because parents wouldn't allow their children to watch shows like this. We also found that children are now watching their favourite programmes on tablets and on catch-up sites online instead of using the television, which shows the shift in technological advances. Similarly, for our target audience research, we used the internet. By using SurveyMonkey, we could send out questionnaires to a variety of people. We had a variety of ages to fill out these questionnaires, from people in our college to high school students and primary school students. We also used a Samsung Galaxy S6 device to record and interview some children out of our target audience. By doing this, we were able to get a more clearer view of what they wanted from a children's television programme.
We used Google and YouTube to look at stereotypes for characters, as we knew that this was a popular convention in most children's TV shows. We found the most popular stereotypes were characters like popular kids and jocks, so we decided to use these in our opening sequence.
For characterisation, we looked at existing characters in films and TV shows and the stereotypes that they have. So, for example, like popular characters such as Sharpay Evans in High School Musical, and then like sporty jock characters such as Troy Bolton.
Also in the characterisation, we looked at stereotypical names to use. We looked at statistics for like most common baby names.
And took inspiration from other TV shows.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we looked at the conventions of the names of the shows and found like a title that would fit with ours.
Yeah.
That was original.
And we found that the main character's name was mostly included in it, wasn't it? For most of them.
We went on dafont.com.
We did.
And there was an intensive process looking for fonts. We ended up with about, how many? 30 fonts?
Something like that. Short list of about 20 fonts just for the title of the TV show.
By researching in the fonts, like we found a suitable one that was unique to our show.
In TV shows, like all the fonts are pretty similar, aren't
Yeah, and we went for one that was like kind of, I don't know, handwritten. Because it looked more appropriate for our
like to fit our
the
theme.
doodle theme.
Yeah.
And we used different fonts for characters, which we looked at what other shows used and what was like expected of the fonts.
Yeah, like represent their stereotypes.
And then picked out a suitable font for each character.
Yeah.
We looked at the layout designs of our products on the internet and found there were similar conventions used in each one, so we used that in ours.
To make it look more realistic.
Yeah. We used a lot of hardware in our production, like specific filming cameras and tripods, and we used an EOS 1100D to take the photos in our photo shoots, which produced like clear images that we could use throughout. We hand drew all the doodles and then scanned them in and then edited them in Photoshop to create singular doodles that could be added in and edited. In the editing processes, in the opening sequence, we used Premiere Pro and After Effects.
This is because we found this was the easiest software to edit our product on.
And it created an effective result. When editing the magazine cover and the DVD cover, we used Photoshop and found that it had a lot of effects that we wanted in our own product.
This made our product come to a professional standard.
Our drafting process consisted of uploading our drafts onto YouTube and collecting feedback, which we could then make changes about. And we also uploaded our opening sequence magazine covers and DVD covers onto Facebook, where we got feedback from there, which resulted in more improvements. We also sent out another questionnaire to reach a broader audience who might not use Facebook, which was made on SurveyMonkey. Within the photo shoots, we also used complex lighting techniques through the use of a switchboard.
The lighting was used to represent the different stereotypes of the characters,
which linked to our research of stereotypical colours and characters.
For example, for Popular Girls, we used a pink because Popular Girls are generally seen as feminine and girly.
So for our sporty jock character, we used a blue light because it's stereotypically linked to masculinity and sport. So we thought it'd fit with his character. For our evaluation, we used a different way of presenting each question. So for question 1, we decided to do a Prezi because we thought that this would best get our information across.
In question 2, we recorded someone in our target audience and asked them their opinion on how successful our products were and used a slideshow to further demonstrate that.
For question 3, we used social media, questionnaires and interviews. From this, we presented information we got in a Powtoon.
For question 4, we decided to record ourselves having a group discussion so that we could all have an input on the final result.
We presented all of our work on a blog made on Wix.com, which we could customise to our own needs and present our work accordingly.
We thought that Wix was the easiest blog in terms of navigation and presenting our work in a professional and easy way to view.
Wix also gave us a chance to put out our brand identity further through the use of backgrounds like the lined paper.
Since AS, we've developed our skills in research, production and evaluation through more extensive research and more experience with editing software.
To develop our research and planning from AS, we were much more intensive. We also used a multitude of different technologies, such as YouTube and interviews with audience members.
In the production, the editing process of our A2 work was much more progressed since AS, as
this time around we created a video rather than just a magazine product,
which allowed us to apply our inspiration in a more effective way.
It also allowed us to develop skills in the video editing software,
such as Premiere Pro and After Effects.
And then for our evaluation, we were much more creative this year in the ways that we presented it, and it gave us more opportunities to discuss things as a group rather than individually.
Which allowed us to go more in depth.